So, have you ever wondered if we could actually teach students to be truly autonomous learners? Well, today we're diving into an educational model that aims to do just that. It's called the trust system, and it uses a really clear roadmap with a little help from AI to guide students from being under total supervision to taking complete ownership of their own learning. And this really gets to the heart of a huge debate in education today, right? Should we be leading with control, or should we be building our classrooms on a foundation of trust? I mean, which approach is actually going to prepare our students for a future where they have to be self-starters? Well, the answer we're exploring here is the trust system, or Vertrauenssystem as it's called in German. It's this really cool method that's all about fostering individual learning by systematically, step by step, putting students in the driver's seat, letting them take charge of how, where, and with what tools they learn. So how does it work? Well, it's all broken down into 4 clear levels. Students start out at Basis, which is a high-control environment, and they work their way up to Learn Profi, which basically means Learning Pro, where they've earned a huge amount of trust and autonomy. It's a real roadmap for growth. Okay, so where does a student even begin this journey? Let's dive into those crucial first steps, looking at the move from that highly structured Basis level to the up-and-coming Starter level. Everybody, and I mean everybody, starts at level 1, the Basis. You can think of this as the foundation, you know? It's a safe, really predictable environment where the teacher is right there, providing constant supervision. It's all about setting up good routines and making sure everyone's on the same page with expectations. So, the boundaries here are super clear. It comes down to 2 things: what a student can do and what they're allowed to do. At this level, they can only work when a teacher is supervising. And in terms of their rights, they're only allowed to learn inside the classroom, using traditional stuff like books and worksheets. Now, once a student gets the hang of the basics, they're ready to become a starter. And this is where that first little shift happens. They take their first real step toward working on their own, getting that first little taste of responsibility, but still with plenty of support and guidance.
And you can really see the difference at the starter level. Now, students are able to work a bit more independently. They can even use digital media like PCs or iPads, as long as they get permission first. And they earn a new right too, the ability to work in the common room, which is a direct reward for showing they're ready for more.
This is also where AI first steps onto the scene. Students get introduced to tools like AI-MOOCs. Think of them as adaptive online courses. They learn how to use these tools to get AI-powered feedback on their work, but always with the teacher there to guide them. It's their very first step into this new world of tech-enhanced learning. All right, the next phase is a big one. It's the journey to becoming a Durchstarter. Now, that's a German word that basically means a go-getter, someone who's really starting to hit their stride. And the Durchstarter level is a major leap forward. This is where students start gaining some serious momentum. They get a whole lot more freedom, which also means they need to get much better at organizing themselves. This is the stage where that sense of responsibility really starts to sink in. So what kind of perks do they get? Well, a Durchstarter can work out in the hallway, they can use the computers without having to ask every time, they can grab their own materials, and they can even start working with other Durchstarters on projects. Each of these little freedoms is another building block of trust. And of course, their relationship with AI levels up too. Durchstarters are now expected to use those AI MOOCs and get feedback from the AI all on their own. They start using adaptive learning features, which means the technology actually starts tailoring the content just for them. They're no longer just using the tool, they're learning to use it strategically. And that brings us to the top of the mountain, the final stage of this whole journey, mastering the learning process and earning that coveted status of Learn Profi, the Learning Pro. A Learn Profi has pretty much reached the peak of autonomy in this system. They take complete and total ownership of their learning. But here's the really cool part. It's not just about them anymore. Now, they're expected to be role models and mentors for the other students. I mean, just look at the level of trust we're talking about here. A Learn Profi can work literally anywhere on school grounds, even the schoolyard. They can use any media, organize their own time, and, this is huge, they can organize their own group projects and are trusted to help other students. That is what real student agency looks like. At this point, their relationship with AI completely transforms. A Learn Profi doesn't just use AI tools, they can actually create and adapt them. They learn to use complex AI to design their very own learning paths. They literally become the architects of their own education. Okay, so the levels make sense, right? But you're probably wondering, how does this all actually work day to day? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of how the trust system is put into practice. So, leveling up isn't automatic. You have to earn it. A student has to request an application, and then they have to go out and gather support. They need signatures from their friends, their teachers, and their group leaders. It's a community decision, you see. It's all about social accountability. Then the leadership team reviews it and gives the final okay. And how does everyone keep track of who is at what level? It's actually a super simple and visual ID card system. If you're at the basis level, you have no card. Then you get a white card, then a blue one, and finally, this really cool kiwi green card for the Learn Proffies. It makes a student's level of trust instantly recognizable to absolutely everyone. You know, for a system like this to work, it has to be incredibly transparent. And it is. The rights and abilities for each level are posted up on the walls, and they're in the student planners. This way, everyone knows exactly what the rules are and what they're aiming for. It keeps things fair and clear. When you really boil it all down, the whole point here isn't to just throw out old traditions. It's about building a bridge to innovation. The entire system is designed to create an environment where students don't just learn facts, they learn how to learn, which is what's really going to prepare them for, well, whatever the future throws at them.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. If we systematically build up responsibility, and we integrate technology not for control, but as a tool for autonomy, just imagine what that level of trust could unlock in your students.